Hey, it's Becky, and you're in for a treat because it's YouTube Maker Secret Santa time again. It's a gift-giving circle with some fellow makers, and this year I drew Nate from the internet's name. Nate makes all kinds of cool things on his channel, but what I honed in on was his love of knives, both making them and using them. So today I'm going to show you how I built Nate a smart illuminated display case for showing them off, and a custom knife roll to safely transport them. Then at the end, I'll open the gift I received from my Secret Santa. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by DigiKey. I wanted this year's gift to balance delight with practicality, something that can show off his craftsmanship, but also something he could use every day. And of course, I wanted to show off to you, the viewer, the variety of maker skills that make my content so special. So I landed on two parts: an LED lit display case with Nate's logo and reconfigurable mounting options and Wi-Fi controlled color, and a sturdy fabric knife roll with pockets, elastic straps, and secured with buckles. And both are flexible enough that if Nate wants to use them for something other than knives, that's totally great too. For the display case, I started with a locking steel and glass key storage cabinet and customized it by adding NeoPixel LED strip and a 3D printed honeycomb storage wall, which is a great system of 3D printable parts that lets you swap in whatever hooks or shelves you need. I know Nate loves 3D printing, so while I printed a few generic mounts, I expect he'll want to customize this to match the items he chooses to display. I removed the stock logo from the glass using a little bit of acetone. First, I had to flatten out the key hooks by smashing them down with a hammer. Then I used some 5-minute epoxy to glue in some black foam core board and the 3D printed grid. Next, I drilled a hole for the power cable to come through the bottom of the cabinet. I used a step drill. Ideally, you'd use a drill press for this, but I don't have one large enough, so I just used my cordless drill and some patience. Then it was time to bring in the smart part. I used a tiny Wi-Fi microcontroller called an Arduino Nano ESP32, wired up to some NeoPixel addressable LED strip, and it's running software called WLED. So while I did set a default color, all Nate has to do to change or animate the LEDs is join the device's Wi-Fi access point and fire up the WLED app. He can then also add in his own Wi-Fi details so the device can be controlled over his local network. I'm using 1 meter of side-emitting NeoPixel strip, and at the end I've added a NeoPixel stick. The idea is for the strip to run around the inside of the frame and the stick to light up a 3D printed logo at the center front. Because they're all the same type of pixels, I can chain them together like this. I used hot glue to install the circuit, as well as Nate's logos, which I 3D printed. All the electronics for this build came from DigiKey, and there's a tutorial linked below where you can shop all the parts. And if you're looking to build up your skills enough to build a project like this one, check out my electronics teaching series on the DigiKey YouTube channel. We start with the absolute basics, like soldering up LED circuits and introducing critical tools. Then build to more complex topics, including connecting microcontrollers to the internet, like I'm doing in this project with WLED. Big thanks to DigiKey for their continued support of my channel. Next up, the knife roll. I already published a pattern for a waxed canvas tool roll, but this needed to be taller to hold long knives, and I wanted the pocket to be different too, more like my Dop Kit bag. So I've whipped up this as a new downloadable pattern that is sorta like the best of both worlds, and big enough and durable enough to tote knives. Like the rest of my patterns, this one prints out on regular size paper, then you tape it together using the registration marks. I find a light mat to be extremely useful for the assembly process. I'll link mine below. But if you don't have one, you can use a sunny window instead. This knife roll has 2 trapezoidal pieces, one for the pockets and one for the protective flap, and also a rectangular piece for the main body, and a few pieces for the zipper pocket. The main body piece is meant to be cut on the fold, so it's actually twice as long as it appears in paper form. I used heavy outdoor upholstery fabric and a contrasting canvas liner, plus some elastic to create more attachment points. The interior pocket is made from the black canvas liner fabric, and the first thing to do is install the zipper. Just like my Dop Kit bag, I'm using cut-your-own zipper material and adding my own zipper pulls after sewing them in. Then the tabs and the end pieces can be sewn across the zipper ends, and I ironed these seams and top stitched them as well. Then the corners fold together and get stitched up to give the bag some three-dimensionality. Next up is the main body of the bag, composed of 3 lined pieces: the main body, the lower pocket, and the protective flap. Each trapezoidal piece is stitched around 3 sides with right sides together, then flipped right side out and top stitched. Then these pieces are sandwiched between the right sides of the main body piece and stitched around most of the way, then turned right side out, pressed, and top stitched around. Everything comes together fairly quickly at this point. It's time to pin and mark the pockets, which can be any width you'd like. I also pinned on 2 elastic bands, which will be stitched in the same places as the pockets. I also pinned on the pocket and the exterior straps, which had to be sewn first because they sit behind some of the pocket features. I used nylon webbing straps and some plastic buckles to make an adjustable, secure closure on the exterior of the bag. Lastly, I stitched the pocket segments and attached the zipper pouch, carefully avoiding the straps I had just sewn to the outside. I briefly tested the finished knife roll to be sure it worked as intended, and posed it next to the display case for these glamour shots. But I didn't get to savor them long because I had to get this gift shipped out to Nate ASAP. I wrote a note with some basic instructions and packed everything up to send off to its new home. Head over to Nate's channel to watch him open my gift. Check out the link in the description to get the materials, pattern, and 3D files to make your own. It's here, it's here, it's here, it's here! Oh, I recognize this handwriting. This is from Sam, Look Mom No Computer. I had him last year. Oh, snap. Happy Crimbo! This thing is a bit odd. Yay! From Sam. Okay. Oh, wow. We'll have to find a 12-volt power supply, no problem, and fire it up. Happen to have one right here. I think you're 12 volts. Are you 12 volts? Oh no, you are 5 volts. Okay, we'll look again. Okay, I've got a 12 volt power supply. 2 amps. Yeah, should be enough. Spin it or wiggle it like a DJ Scratcher. Whoa! That's great, Sam. I love it. I can't wait to keep playing with this. This thing is a ton of fun. Thanks so much, Sam, and happy Crimbo right back at you. That's all for this time, folks. Subscribe to my channel if you think I've earned a spot in your feed, and don't miss the other Secret Santa videos in the circle. Happy holidays, and I'll see you in the next one.